Women are starting businesses, women are running businesses, and women are growing businesses. But behind this progress is lying a very persistent challenge, and that is the invisible weight of an unpaid care and domestic work, which continue to limit how far any woman can be able to go into their line of work. There's also other different factors that are contributing to how fast women can get there as large enterprises, or how slow they can transition from small to medium to large enterprises. And therefore, you do have the GROW project, which I believe many of you have heard about. This is a government initiative that is now stepping up the narrative, bridging the gap on how speedy women can transform from one element into another, from one size into another size, not just by providing financial and technical support, but by tackling the deeper social and cultural barriers that are shaping how women are participating in business in Uganda today. So, how do we move from survival businesses to scalable enterprises? How do we shift mindsets at household and community level to truly empower a Ugandan woman economically? Well, joining me this morning, I do have Angela Nakafero, who's the Commissioner for Women's Affairs at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, the right person to help us draw understanding of where we stand in our commitment as a country. You're most welcome, Angela.
Morning, Priscilla.
How are you?
Thank you for hosting me.
It's a pleasure to have you. First of all, let us know more about your work under the Office of Women Affairs under the ministry.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. Morning, viewers. Morning, Ugandans, especially the women that we work for in terms of promoting gender equality and empowerment of women. At the Ministry of Gender, Labour, Social Development, we have quite a number of programs. I would want to emphasize the core areas. One of our core areas and why we exist as the Department of Women and Gender is to ensure that we mainstream gender into government policies, laws and programs. That's a very big mandate. It requires that, first of all, we are well positioned to work with all ministries, departments and agencies, reaching out to other stakeholders, articulating gender and equity issues, and ensuring that as we work on government laws, we work on government policies and programs, issues of gender are well articulated and integrated into the implementation process. That's one component. Another component is promoting women's leadership and participation, right from the grassroots level to the national level. And as part of that mandate, we have the National Women Council as the main structure within which we are pursuing women's participation in leadership and decision-making. Of course, it also requires the same in public service. It requires the same in private sector. We've been having a lot of discussion of women's leadership in the private sector. It requires the same in civil society organization. Another area of mandate is women, peace and security. Priscilla, you are aware that our country has been surviving from different conflicts and wars. And the majority of people who suffer most the consequences of wars and conflicts have been mainly women and children. They become more vulnerable. So we have a very big component of ensuring that we maintain peace and security, and where women are playing an active role in peace building and conflict resolution. Another area is to do with women, climate change, women, gender and climate change. As we look at the entire world, Mother Nature is not very happy with us because we are distracting what God gave us. And of course, because of climate changes, people become more vulnerable. And in this case, women were depending on the natural environment and resources. So we want to see women playing a critical role in terms of environmental conservation and climate change and action. I would want to focus on women economic empowerment, because in our case, poverty is still an issue, and I'm glad that government of Uganda is stepping up its efforts to ensure that we reduce the level of poverty, not only for men, but also for women as a special category of people who are playing a critical role in Uganda's economy. And that's why we are talking about Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program as a flagship program that is fully funded by the government of Uganda. We are also happy that at one time the World Bank is also coming in to support us, and we have the generating growth and productivity opportunities for women's enterprises, the GROW project, where World Bank has invested over $217 million, really to ensure that women who are managing micro and small scale and medium scale enterprises are able to move to another level. Instead of remaining at survival, livelihood, would want to see more women playing a critical role in economic development of this country. And of course, it means that their enterprises need to be supported to live to that challenge.
On that note, Angela, the GROW project, some of us are aware of it, have interacted with it, but there could be a woman right now that could want to scale up their business. Yes. And they've been hearing GROW project, GROW project meeting, seminar, leadership, training, but they're not really conversant with the nitty-gritties of the project. Tell us more.
The GROW project has quite a number of inspiring components. One is in terms of ensuring that there's strengthening women in terms of services to ensure that their businesses can grow, can become more productive and grow in terms of size, in terms of income, in terms of the employment opportunities, but also in terms of the benefit and contribution to national development. So we have a component on core business development. This is to do with, how businesses have to run in a professional way. And in most cases, the women's businesses, we do them as a by the way, not giving them a lot of effort to ensure that these businesses grow. So under the GROW project, women have been trained on business development skills. Planning is one of them, saving and investing, but also giving sector-specific skills. For instance, women who are participating in catering, they need to do more in terms of ensuring that what they bring on the market really can generate customer base, but also generate income. So we don't need to continue preparing matoke as it was done 20 years. We'd want to improve the way we prepare our food, the way we market our food, the way we package our food. So a lot of core business development is undertaken, and over 11,333 women have been taken into core business development skills. We have a component on strengthening women's economic platforms. Quite often when we stay at home, we are isolated, we don't learn, we don't share information, we don't learn from others. So the women economic empowerment platforms have been created to ensure that women can come together, learn together, strategically think about their programs and businesses together, and they can support each other. So these platforms create a space for them to learn, share experiences, but also reflecting on what needs to be done among the women members. If they need training, then there's a platform within which they can demand for training. If it means for approaching the banks and understanding the business products they have, the women economic platforms provide a space where they can engage with the banks. So we've created, as part of the GROW project, we've created over 111 women economic platforms that are providing a space for them to network, learn, and promote their businesses.
And these platforms are across the country?
Across the country.
Okay, all right.
We also have a program on women entrepreneurship workspace where women have been linked to companies that are doing well so that they can really learn and share experiences. They are placed into these companies, they learn what's happening in these companies that are doing well, and the intention is to ensure that as they go back into their program, into their enterprises, they're able to improve their skills and the way they manage their programs. The most important component that is known to everybody is the women access to finance. This is a very well-known program, and it has two components, one of a grant, and this for the grants, the Ministry of Gender is looking at companies that are really doing well and promoting women's economic empowerment, but also have the capacity to break into male-dominated areas. So that it's going to be competitive, and companies are being shortlisted, but I think they will be unveiled, those who have been able to competitively compete for these grants. Okay. The one that is ensuring that all women benefit is the access to credit. Quite a number of banks, over 7 banks have been enrolled, and funds have been transferred to these banks, and women are free to access loans at 10% interest rate to ensure that they improve their businesses. Among the banks, we have the Finance Trust Bank. It's one of them. Centenary is doing a very good job. We have Pearl Bank, former Post Bank. We have the Equity Bank. DFCU is also supporting us in terms of ensuring that women access credit. Stanbic Bank, but also other banks like Pride Bank, Opportunity Bank have also been enrolled. So I would encourage women who are running businesses to approach these banks, ask for the Grow loan, and apply for it so that you can improve your business. Okay.
On that note of access to credit,
yes,
you're saying that women should approach, but of course not every woman's business is able to receive that kind of grant that you're talking about.
Yes.
There are specific targeted kind of businesses that have a particular capital and leverage that you are targeting to benefit from that access to finance.
Previously, the program was targeting women who have an annual threshold of 10 million. But knowing that not so many qualify, so it has been scaled down to include women who are even running small businesses. So you can go in and ask for a loan of 2 million. You can ask for a loan of 4 million. You can also ask for a loan of 200 million. It depends on your capacity. So it's being made very flexible. Almost most Ugandan women can benefit in this regard, including using micro circles. Some circles have been enrolled into the program to ensure that almost every woman who's doing a business that has potential can benefit from the program.
Well, this is encouraging for women because, you know, most women start their businesses small. But we need to they don't have the financial capacity to start big.
Yes.
So this opening up that bracket for more inclusion of women is definitely a step in the right direction to also enable those that are predominantly in the informal sector scale up to formal sector. Yeah. But I also know that as a ministry, you're running a campaign, My Voice, My Family, Stronger for It. Talk to us about that campaign.
Okay. Maybe before I go to that campaign, also women refugees are also entitled to benefit, and some of them have already benefited. So over 4,889 women have gotten these Grow loans, and they're investing into their business. To the campaign, we all know that there are quite a number of areas that impact on our businesses as women. We have quite a number of social norms that undermine the capacity to which women can run their businesses. One of them is in terms of decision making. In most cases, we always look to our spouses, our brothers, our sons to make decisions for us. But under the Grow Project, we are telling women, yes, we can make decisions, and of course, decisions that will take your business to another level. So decision making in businesses is very important. Decision on where do I invest? Decision on how much do I save? Decisions on where do I invest my money? Instead of keeping it and giving it to other people without thinking about your business, we need to change our norms in terms of looking at have a business-oriented mindset. Yes, I'm working, I'm saving this money, I'm reinvesting into my business, or I'm acquiring more assets. Our laws and policies give us the powers to ensure that women can even acquire assets, and assets that are propelling your business. So decision making in businesses is very important, and of course we need to change quite a number of social norms around decision making.
And mindsets.
Mindsets. Yes, it's important. Another area that is important in terms of our norms is in terms of mobility. Quite often women, we work within the home, the household.
Or the community where the household is.
Exactly. We don't want to move out. We don't want to venture into long trips for us to look for business opportunities. Yet businesses require us to be as mobile as possible and looking for opportunities. I'm glad that Ugandan women are going out of the country to do business. And that has contributed significantly to Uganda's economy.
So how are you rolling out this campaign that it may reach the last mile?
We've targeted the campaign for the women in business. In whatever activities we are undertaking, we are opening their mind to the kind of social norms that have been undermining our business entrepreneurship growth. And of course, collectively challenging each other to move out of the box. We need to adopt social norms that can propel our businesses. We've also engaged men. Yes, as we empower women, we note that men are still very powerful within our social context. So we need men who are allies. So we engage as the women businesses. We also reach out to the spouses to tell them about these social norms and how they can support their wives or their sisters' businesses to grow. It means that providing good counsel. It means that really working together to ensure that the business runs. Another area where women have been exploited is in terms of the roles and responsibilities. When you start earning, your spouse says, okay, you're now earning, all those are your responsibilities. Look after the home, look after the family, and of course pay school fees since you're earning. So that reduces the potential in terms of growth, because the expenditures are usually far ahead the incomes and the savings. So we are calling out to men to support. When I start earning, it doesn't mean that you pull away from providing for the family, but we need to share the roles and responsibilities to be able to not to really draw much out of the business that it cannot grow. We are also looking at women, challenging them to invest. Businesses will not grow without us investing. Okay. So mindful of your expenditures and incomes.
All right, Angela, so as you are seated with us, of course, we do have women in our audience this morning, and we want to hear from the horse's mouth. What is your call to action?
Call to action, really, as women, we have to take up opportunities that are being provided by government programs. Grow is one of the very good example. Let's utilize the funds for business growth and development. Let's don't focus drawing out and spending as we would want, but let's focus on the business. Then a call to the men is let's support our spouses. It's important in terms of ensuring that our businesses can grow. We have issues of gender-based violence. Let's say no to all forms of gender-based violence. There are mechanisms within which you can report some of these cases and you'll be supported. We have the Sauti 116. It's one way we've been using in terms of online reporting of cases of violence. So women entrepreneurs, please don't die in silence. Report these cases, seek support. Take advantage of the women economic platforms to discuss some of these issues and the strategies that we can adopt.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Angela Nakafero, Commissioner, Women's Affairs at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Call to action. You have the opportunity to upscale your financial standing, but it all starts with changing the mindset, decision-making and understanding the different elements of decision that you have to make in order to position yourself, ground yourself, and then propel yourself into economic development that is prosperous to you, to your family, but also to the country at large. Clearly, empowering women in business goes beyond access to capital. It requires a shift to how we value time, labor, and decision-making within homes and communities. And the success of initiatives such as the GROW project will not only uplift individual entrepreneurs, but it will also strengthen families, it will strengthen communities and the broader economy. So we thank the ministry for its position and voice on this matter. That's been our business update. Do stay with us with more conversations coming up.